So, I mean, we're going to talk about art history. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind with art history is, well, you know, got to talk about the history of art. I mean, what else is it supposed to be? I mean, how are you going to define art history, you know? Got to talk about the history. So, if we're going to talk about that, I mean, first of all, it all started back at the caveman times when the cavemen were drawing on the wall. You know, one day there was a guy, he probably sneezed or something. He was eating like a bunch of berries or something like that. He sneezed on the wall and he was like, holy crap, that looks really cool. And some guy walked up next to him and was like, oh my goodness, that's really good. You should cut out that rock. Of course, that's not what they said because it was more like, rah, 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 da, 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 rah, rah, da, which is caveman for, holy crap, that's really cool. And then, of course, you know, you had like the critic standing in the background who was like, rah, da, da, rah, da, 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 which is caveman for like, oh, that really sucks. All you did was sneeze on the wall. What are you, an idiot? How are you going to sell that? Of course. Yes, it's pretty crazy. It's caveman talk. I've preserved it over the years. But really, that's how art started. You know, you had a bunch of cavemen, and they were there, and they were working on stuff, and then he sneezed on the wall, and it was like, oh my goodness. And so as time progressed, you know, we got stick figures, and all of a sudden, you know, all our drawings and stuff had, you know, the arms and legs and the character, and we started adding different colors. And over the years, we progressed and we began going into things, you know, like mosaics and sculptures and things like that nature. And something about a bunch of, you know, Ninja Turtles, and they were drawing on the ceilings of the roofs of very important places and different things like that. A lot of biblical and other, you know, sort of, things like that. And there was that time that guy made like a helicopter. He was also like an artist. What the helicopter has to do with art? Well, I don't know, but it was a form of art. Probably like a failure, maybe like a plane crash of some sort. Really, art has taken a lot of evolution. Then you had like guys like Picasso, and he was like putting together a bunch of things, and really nobody knew what they were. And one guy was like, oh my gosh, that's an airplane. Another guy's like, holy crap, that looks like my wife. And then the last guy's like, holy crap, that looks like my daughter. And everybody's like, oh, it looks all different. It's got like its own interpretation. And everybody tried to figure it out, and then you had guys like Vincent van Gogh. He would get upset and be like, I hate my painting, and cut off his own finger, and eventually he cut off his own ear so he couldn't hear the people say, dude, your stuff looks like crap, when really it didn't look like crap, but, you know, he was just a depressed guy, and that's just how things went. And then as time progressed, we had like more modern art, and things got really crazy, and then the graphics came in, and the computer was born, and people were using it like crazy, and you had guys like Photoshop, and then art became something like of the past, because, you know, guys could draw for 5,000 hours, and then one guy could go on the computer in 5 minutes, download like a Monet or a Van Gogh or something, and be like, holy crap, look what I did. I just altered this, I did that. And so now we've got to this like postmodern era where everybody's like, oh, you know, all that stuff, the complicated things, that's nothing. Watch me throw paint on the wall and call it Splat Attack and sell it for $20,000, which is kind of like what we did back then as cavemen, except now there's money involved. A lot of money. Like, now you could take like a pole and put it against the wall and be like, behold, pole on the wall. And people would be like, holy crap, that's amazing. How did you do that? And then some guy will walk by and be like, are you an idiot? Watch me do it. And he, you know, puts it against another wall, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, a different perspective. Art is so amazing. Raw. Really, at the end of the day, art is all, you know, beauty in the eye of the beholder. There really isn't one thing that's good for everybody. You know, there's one thing that's good for that guy, and that guy might think it looks like his wife when it's really an elephant. I don't know, it's pretty crazy, but people really need to rethink this whole thing about art. Really, at the end of the day, I could poop and draw with it on the wall, and everybody would be like, oh wow, that is the most amazing thing I have ever seen. And I could say, I know it's chocolate smears, and I made it and turned it into a picture of the Mona Lisa, when in reality, I pooped on the wall and tried to draw a really bad picture of my grandmother, like a really crappy one. No, literally, it was crappy.